How you going, folks? Borry Berry here. Sorry about the probably the glare and stuff. We're in my van because it's cold and wet outside, and I'm a big softy. um, so bear with me. I still got my ringing ear thing going on. So I'm a bit it's annoying. Yeah, so today, now I was talking about how I was going to show you some sharpening. So I'll try to pack a lot in with what I show you. Again, bear with me because, I'm doing all this off a phone. So who knows how that could all change even soon. Yeah, so it'd be good to have better quality for yous one day. Again, thank you for the support. You guys know who you are. But even just the support from subscribing, and please subscribe, guys. The more hype, the more you guys like my stuff, the more you watch it, the better. And who knows where it can go. And like I said in other videos, I'm giving it a good crack. And that's all I can. That's all I do. And yeah, few things are happening behind the scenes with my YouTube thing, and just certain people reaching out, and just how it's affecting people, and hearing really good feedback. Someone close to me, they'll probably see this, but someone dear to me, I won't mention any names, but someone close to me, they invited me over their house yesterday, a couple, and they fed me and stuff, which was amazing. And this person was saying how she's cooking and watching my video, and I really like to hear that, because I want to. There's a few things that I have explained in other stuff, but I'll assume you guys know nothing about it, because who knows what you've watched. I haven't watched. It's not like you're probably sitting there remembering everything I've said. I don't. I want to not only have a balance between bushcraft survival and that kind of outdoorsy stuff, with my own humour and just hearty stuff from the heart, spiritual stuff, and a balance with all that. And I always want to keep it real. Like Ali G said, keep it real, innit? Sorry. Bad. Yeah, so I want to have that balance of those things, and I guess I kind of picture, I'd love to be that cozy the YouTube thing that you'd watch, and it's like, oh, just like him on in the background. Oh, that would be awesome if having that effect and that kind of content, where just that beautiful balance between those things. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so I've actually got a lot of stories, real life stories, that I need to start introducing, just where I've been and my journey. And who knows what might come out. So I'll show you some sharpening now. This knife here is my cooking knife. It's a Husk. It's a mass-produced Japanese knife. Highly recommend. It's actually sharp. I sharpened it recently, but then what I'll do, I'll bought this FDeek old school butcher's knife steel. It's a good one. Knife steel. A lot of people try to do it real quick. It's like speed comes with use, and focus on proper technique first. It's the same as martial arts. So like it's a stone, you go towards it. I'll go like that. I wouldn't say I'm an expert with steels, but see how I'm just getting that burr, because you actually hit the burr off. And there's little, I guess you say, like elongated teeth, like lines in this steel, and it's hard steel, and it grabs those little burrs, and it'll recondition your knife, because you get, if you to zoom up, and actually the finer you'll find, this will happen more in a sense. So when your knife's sharp, and there's no way you'll see it from in this phone camera, but it's sharp, but then when you use it, you'll get like a burr. What they call a burr is, if you imagine you zoomed in on the thin blade, it burrs over like this. I usually favor one side, and obviously it blunts it, because your burr's going like that, your blade's going like that up top. So when you get the knife steel, especially when you've just sharpened the knife, and it only goes so far in knife steel, I find. There's a certain point you want to sharpen your knife, and you're actually taking off metal when you sharpen it, which I'll show you some things. You're actually taking off metal and reshaping it and bringing it all to that point. And there's two main types of sharpening, and this is my own language, so please don't. It's not out of a book. It's just what I've experienced. My names for things. I found my knowledge to be fairly accurate because of experience and different things. So there's what I call a clean sharpen, a polished sharpen. So Japanese call their sharpening polishing, because it's so fine. The clays they use and stuff, they're whetstones. It's so fine, their process, and the steel's real high carbon, like your samurai swords and katanas and whatnot. They use very high carbon steel. Can be very brittle compared to other countries, their steels. Just the Industrial Revolution, what got developed, and and there's all history with that. I find stainless is an interesting one. Unless it's done really well, stainless steel can be really annoying to sharpen and have a good edge, but it's resistant to rust and corrosion, so it's got more chromium in it. And so it's stainless steel, even though it's, if you had a fishing knife in the ocean, you wouldn't want a high carbon steel Japanese knife that's not, it hasn't got all that chromium in it. And I'm not saying Japanese don't do stainless, but I think, some countries are better at certain things, with what they make, with their industrial stuff and whatnot, and just what they focus on. My favourite stainless is Swiss stainless. I find Swiss stainless is, not only is it stainless, so it's rust resistant and stuff, and you don't touch the blade and then it carbonizes, like from the acid in your fingers or whatever, and you get all markings in your on your surface. And sorry, I got distracted. So the stainless, it's much more hardy in that sense. And the Swiss stainless it's a well done stainless. You can sharpen it. Oh man, you can sharpen it well, and it's stainless. And that, like I said, that's often the problem. It's poor quality stainless, and I think guys forge it and stuff, but usually they'll do high carbon with forging and stuff, and just people do it. So that's a steel, and I kind of showed you how to use it. Just kind of that angle of 22 degrees or whatever it is of whatever the blade is too. So just kind of deburr. So don't have to go like so you look fancy. Just do it properly. I'm not that quick, Get the whole blade done with it, and that's really sharp. That's shaving with ease. And it wasn't it wouldn't have been shaving with these when I used it for a bit after I sharpened it. So that steel, proof is in the pudding, or in your steel, boy. So we'll put this bad boy back. I'm going to be using this sharp knife as an example to sharpen. Got a few whetstones. I'll bring out my... So this isn't all my sharpening stuff. Not even close. I do have Japanese stones somewhere that I've left somewhere. That's another story. But so I've explained a little bit about sharpening. So do you want me to take like an amateur sharpening approach, like good starting grounds for amateurs, and then I might go into other things? Yeah, I'll just assume you're all amateurs, and I think sometimes when it comes to learning, that posture's a good posture. Master, show me. So easy lap stones, diamond stones. This one's a fine one. These are great. I think you buy them in sets, maybe set of 3. Fairly good value, good little, I think they're USA. Yep, USA, easy lap. Knife stores, knife sharpening places, you'll find them on the internet. It doesn't have to be these lap stones. I've also got it's called made in Sweden. I have to say it like that. Sweden. I had to modify the pouch and it's still loose even after I modified it. I added extra leather studs. Oh, look at that. Look at how well I did that. Missed it. Anyway, that's a diamond, beautiful burled little wooden handle. Pretty stained from just all the carbon and crap coming from your sharpening. It's got a fine and like a medium grit with diamond. So diamond steels. So it's just little bits of industrial diamond. So it's hard and it chews your blade for sharpening. So something like that. Or a set of these. Most knives you can sharpen them and you'll sharpen them great. Now, yes, my experience is mainly hand sharpening. I do eventually one day, God willing, get a Tormac, even set it up in my van with my solar system, run it off that. You don't have to buy expensive whetstone sharpening system like a Tormac. I just would love one because it's such a passion for me. And anyway, so now water. You can use oil on your diamond stuff. I like using water because oil. Once you use oil, and that's it. Like you ain't using water on something that you've used oil on. I just find oil's messier. I guess water's more available, and unless you're in like Butkus, like desert somewhere. Yeah, and so you can use water on these. So now there's a lot of myths and rubbish with why you use water or oil on a oil stone, or don't ever let oil touch. See this beautiful old school whetstone? Look at that. That's maybe 900 grit. I don't actually know the grits of a lot of things. I just know by how it feels, how it chews. Again, I'm by feel. So if you're very analytical and technical, someone like Byrie teaching you, you'll struggle with me teaching because I'm a very instinctive visual learner. I go by feel. I look at the results. I like testing. That's how I get good. I test and I fail. I'm not scared of failure. I'm not a girly man. Look at these beautiful whetstones. I've got more. I bought these in an old flour bucket, and they look like nothing. I saw they were whetstones at a garage sale. Man, garage sales are awesome. And anyway, this carpenter was getting. I think he passed away. I don't know the story, but it was a carpenter's gear, and I missed out on all the planes and all the cool stuff, which isn't really. I'm not a furniture carpenter kind of guy or big structures. I'm more fiddly things. So a lot of things like planes and stuff. It's cool, and I'll probably find a use every now and then or sooner or later. But I'm more fiddly little wooden stuff, you know. I'm not really a carpenter. I'm more of a wood artist, maybe. Wood artist, wood craftsman. Oh, go away. Those little bin chickens, they're not bin chickens, but they're not ibises. They're water hens, and seriously, you're not meant to feed them, but they get annoying. They'll like go outside your door while you're sitting there and they go, "Rah!" Translation, give me food. Give me food! Give me food! People are going to think I'm a madman. Yeah. When they hear me yelling out, give me food from the van. But yeah, that's so annoying. So I've learnt to kind of shoo them away, eh? I know I'm a grump, but they got plenty of food. The thing about a lot of animals, if you feed them heaps too, not only are people feeding them shite that they shouldn't be eating, but certain animals will just breed up and they'll just run all over the place. And yeah, these birds get entitled. They'll literally be yelling at you for food. I'm like, nah, bugger off, man. Little one there. That's a bit coarser. Little stone. Ideally use whetstones. You don't have to. No, that's right. Back on the topic. Why do you use water or oil? So I'll talk about some of the myths and I'll talk to actually why you use water or oil. So you use water or oil because what happens is, especially whetstones, they'll really soak up the water. But when you're sharpening, you get the carbon, obviously the breakdown of because the abrasiveness of the stone is actually it's cutting the iron, the metal. Maybe I should do this in a dwarven accent, which is actually Scottish. So, what you doing, man? Why do you lubricate your stones? Yeah, you know what stones I'm talking about, you wee boy. So, you lubricate because not only are you... So, main reason is if you're to zoom in into your stone, you'd see little teeth, like the little rocks, or it's like little bumps and grooves, and it's all these little particles. And what happens is when you're sharpening, say without lubricant, these little pores get filled up, a bit like your skin with blackheads and stuff. Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so it fills up. So what happens is it takes away its abrasiveness. So having oil or water ensures that the stone is at its cutting potential. And if I use big words, I'll sound smart. Do you understand what I'm trying to comprehend, to communicate, so you can... anyway, you've lost me. See, that's how as far as I go with my smartness. But yeah, so one of the myths is, it doesn't get hot. Rubbish, it doesn't get hot. Unless you'd yes, whetstones, when you got your like tarmac and the grinding wheels, like, that's definitely one of the main reason you use water in a whetstone is because you'll take the temper out of your steel because it gets too hot. Once you see colours in your steel because you're grinding it, you're taking out the temper. You're detempering your steel. And I've definitely done that as a kid, making knives out of old machete blades in South America. I think I did do it in Australia as a kid too. But, yeah, that's the main reason you use lubricants. Also, there is also that slurry. I'm not swearing. It's called a slurry. That slurry that's formed also helps kind of... It adds to it. Japanese love using the slurry that builds up from the clay breaking out, because the stone will obviously wear down too. So you can actually see the wear on that stone. Good whetstones, guys. They're precious. Now, because I do hand sharpening, Hopefully, like I said, I'll get a Tormek one day, because I do hand sharpening. One of my peeves is people will neglect knives till they're so blunt. You could hang off that edge and not cut your hands. And then they're like, "Oh, can you sharpen this up?" And doing it by hand with this stuff, man, forget it. I mean, you can do it, and I do it, but people don't understand. Like, if you don't neglect your knives and you just get from a regular sharpener, steel, and then once the steel's not doing its effectiveness, which I explained earlier in this video, then you'll sharpen out on the stone. How much you say? You say, well, when do I sharpen? You can tell. You can tell your knife's getting blunt. It's not at its peak performance. And yeah, so I've been sharpening for a while, so I do things that people are like, oh, don't do that, but I know what I'm doing. I can actually feel the burr. And yeah, so I'm jumping all over the shop. So when I was saying there's two main types of sharpening, and there's what I call serration sharpening and polishing edge. Serration sharpening is, your chef knives, your workhorse knives. When it's a knife, it has to be good quality and it needs to be sharp and carving stuff and that kind of stuff. So your workhorse knives, as far as kitchen goes, it's what I call serration sharpening. So the way they sharpen them, it's not really fine like I'm specialised in. I can sharpen a cutthroat. I'll even dig up my cutthroat if I can, right here in front of you. Or straight razor, whatever they call them. There's my little pouch. I actually shave with this thing. I know you're thinking, yeah, right, you're a liar. But I do try to trim around here and stuff. It's a bit rough at the moment, neglected. Maybe one day I'll do a shave video. I'll show you some of my shaving gear. Because that is a cool skill, especially for your heady boys. See if I can find this straight razor. I know it's in here. Was in here. Oh, here it is. This one's a what was it? Swedish steel, but this is cool. This one, see the wooden thing. I sharpened this myself. Look how thick. It's not even a hollow grind, which they normally are. I actually haven't seen one like this again, because they're usually hollow grind. Look, that's solid. It's a solid wedge. This thing's razor sharp. Look at that. Shaves like a breeze. Usually with this one, so I'm going to explain polishing, sharpening, so fine sharpening, stuff for straight razors and stuff, which is more, it's not beginner, it's middle ground kind of stuff. It's not really beginner, but with this, when I fine sharpen it, so I prefer finer stones than say that. Sharpening this is what I do. So got my little pouch here. So you're wondering what this is. This is a little pouch I made for an Arkansas stone. It's the American bee's knees of sharpening, and they use Arkansas stone. I'm probably getting it wrong, but they normally use water on them. I don't like to use water on this one. They use oil on them. This is better with oil. I don't use oil on it. I don't like using oil at all, because I don't want to get oil on any of my wet stones and ruin them. So that's a stone. It's like glass. It's very fine. Oh, these weird brown ducks. Hey! Get out of here! You noisy buggers. Just told them off. Yeah, it's like glass, so I made a little pouch for it so it doesn't shatter. So I'll use, that's like my fine stone. If every now and then I'll put this cutthroat onto it because the edge is already there. You remember I said if you do the work and you don't let something get totally blunt where you can hang off the blade, you don't have to do much to it. So this one I'll give it a couple of cracks. Maybe before I use it, I'll just get it on the strop. Now with strop, see, can you see that? Get that angle right. I know my angle pretty well. Give that a strop. See how I don't curve at the end? I don't go like this at the end, because you undo your work. Keep it straight off. Straight off. Even amounts of each side. You don't really want to go more than 2 strokes on each side, really, because you don't want to just be moving the burr around. And that's just to get any burr build up, any bluntness, which is the burr kind of going like that. And yeah, this strop also has, it's just a bit of leather glued to a shitty wood backing. And I've got a stropping compound on it. I'll set up my little fan. It's kind of humid in here. Look at that little fan. I've got fans everywhere. Did you get that one? Yeah, so, you know, I'll give this a little strop before I use it, and maybe a strop after I use it, and it's usually good to go. That's exactly how I do it. But no, I'll show you that one day, a bit of shaving for the men. Maybe for the women. Some women, you know, get the beards going. Yeah, so you just drop that every now and then. And if you need to put it on the stone, I'll put it on this fine stone. I don't let it get too blunt. So there's not a lot of work. So do you understand what I'm showing you, where there's a big difference to sharpening a blunt, cheap stainless steel kitchen knife that's so blunt that someone's neglected, to something that's already fairly sharp. To most people's standards, it's great. Like when this is super blunt, people are like, man, your knife's so sharp. This is scary sharp at the moment. And it's just a bit of stealing after, you know, I've used it. Yeah, this is, I had to warn people about my knives because they grab them, Boris, and I'm like, hey, whoa, my knives are real sharp. That hasn't happened a lot. I had a mate back in the day. He was opening a beer, and he'd use a knife, and he grabbed one of my Japanese knives. It's folded still, it's beautiful. It's really sharp, and normally the way he would open the beer, the knives kind of press in. I don't remember how it was, but the knife presses into like that a little bit. And if it's a blunt knife, it won't do anything, which I'm not recommending being silly with knives. And yeah, anyway, so he used this Jap knife and he's done that and it's cut him. I'm like, bro, you know, he was all right. But usually when I cut myself now with the cutting, I'm not spinning it around. No, like it's usually when I'm complacent, I forget, I get all complacent. I'm like, oh yeah, chatting with someone. Oh, I grab something. That's usually when I cut myself. Nearly the only time I really cut myself. But you get fairly careful and you do techniques that eliminate risk. Especially with carving, and that's another area. So yeah, so recommend for beginners, just get some lapstones, some diamond stones. If it's really blunt, you'll get the rougher one and get that angle right. Learn those angles. I'll use the diamond lapstone on this. See, because it's a short run. If it was stone, I could do the knife like this in runs. So if a stone, I'll run the blade. I'm actually dragging. So I believe in dragging. It's the only way you can sharpen with these anyway. And you always drag on strops. Because what if you're applying pressure forward? What happens? You cut into that leather, don't you? You also cut into these stones if you're dragging into it. So the pressure is when you're pulling away. Pressure, loose. Pressure, loose. And you get that angle right. Pressure. See how I'm going around the curve, getting that nice curve? You won't see any light under that blade. Pressure, loose. Pressure, loose. When I say pressure, just a bit firmer. That's all. Just tap it in. Tap it in. Be gentle, okay? You big brutes. And even amounts on the other side. And yes, you're going, oh, you're supposed to use water on that and you should have it sitting up on a bench. Yes, that is ideal. But a lot of stuff that people go, this is how you do it. Yeah. But once you understand the process and what it's actually doing, you know what you can get away with. Like, oh, can you not use water on that? And it actually, believe it or not, this is actually a technique. So if your knife's fairly sharp, and say you use this whetstone without water, which is not bad, what actually happens, you're actually getting a finer, as it builds up with carbon and clogs those pores, you actually find sharpening the knife. See, because I know the rules, I look like I'm all over the place, but once I got my angles right and I know how much I'm doing it and I'm feeling it, which comes with practice, oh mate, this is natural to me, sharpening. It's one of the few things I could say, no, I actually know what I'm talking about. I actually am good at that. There's not a lot of things I'll say that. But sharpening, yeah. And I have compared, and I like about sharpening, it's honest. Because you could go, oh yeah, I know sharpening, I've got the best system. At the end of the day, I'm going to know how sharp my knife is just by using it or feeling it. And I've got ways I feel it. I don't recommend the way I feel knife sharpness to a lot of people, because I feel like people could hurt themselves. But I actually have my finger at the back of the blade. I've got my thumb, and I'll just lightly over the surface. And now you're going, oh, you cut yourself. I don't care how sharp the knife is. It's never going to go deeper than that backing. It can't go deep because it's only going to cut as much as it can, in a sense. So I can always just run my finger over. I don't care how sharp your knife is. I had a guy, obviously we wiped him afterwards, but he showed me and a friend his swords that he trained with and stuff, and they're professionally sharpened and stuff, which is actually believe it or not, it's what I'm good at. Like if someone gave me a sword and they said, polish this, and you know, I'll set up and I actually wanted to do that. Yeah, that's my specialty. I also don't scrape the face of the surface of the knife because I'm never going that angle. Used to when I was starting, there's a lot of practice. So practice is a big one. Another reason you don't hold a lot of your stuff, which some of it is made to hold, is because don't be a Gumby, have your fingers poking out, so you're sharpening and then you run into your finger. I've always got my fingers hidden, see? If I'm holding it like this. So believe it or not, I might seem more free and easy. Look at that, it's natural for me. Other side, free and easy. And this knife has already gotten so much sharper just from showing you a little bit. See how I kind of work the end a bit, because the end gets very neglected. And the knife speaks to me. Oh yeah, it's sharp. I don't really do that with my eyes, you know. Just being silly. Come on, man. I'll run into some funny people today. Anyway, yeah. So probably to finish this knife from doing a bit on that whetstone without water. Oh, you can't do that. And I'll just give it a little strop, and that's. I mean, it was razor sharp before, but now it'd be scary sharp. And just watch. Maybe I could show you a bit of shaving. Oh, you can see it. Ready? Can you see the hairs running? Oh, my arm's gonna be shaved. Look at the hairs. Can you see them falling? Can you see the hairs dangling? You see them dangling? See how easy that was? Now I've got a bald spot. Thanks to YouTube. Look what you made me do. I'm going to lose it, man. I'm not really angry. I'm joking. Yes, you saw that. When I notice when a knife's really sharp, not only can I feel it, yeah, it like grabs you. It's like aggressive. It's like I'm going to cut you. I'll stab you. I better be careful. Sorry, I'm not doing threats. Calm down, people. But when it's real sharp, it looks like your hairs are running from the blade. Like it's almost like the blade doesn't even touch the hairs. Again, be careful. Please don't be silly like me. I am actually. Technically, I'm a professional. I've been doing this for years, man. I'd actually have. I think it was like 55,000. I think it's like 5 years. Oh, I don't know. of constantly doing something that equates to being a master at something. I'd say I'm a master at hand sharpening. Yep. I mean, that's my opinion. No one else says that. But yeah, you know it's sharp when it looks like your hairs are running away from the blade. So yeah, what else? Sharpening. So yeah, to start out, don't need a strop, just diamond stuff. Keep your knife sharp, get those angles right. Use a bit of water with it just to clean out those pores and so you get that aggression. And then, you know, you might go from a medium with these lap stones to a fine. And I'm telling you, you did that regularly to your kitchen knives, and you might have to really work them originally because you know, you might be like most people and your knife is super blunt. 35 minutes, really? 35 minutes. So I better wrap this up, otherwise you're like, far, this is boring. All we talked about was sharpening. Please holler out any questions with sharpening, because yes, I'm a very scattered person. So, you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you go, oh, what do you mean by this and this and this, or something. You know, I do try to cram a lot in. Who knows what video I'm doing next? I've always got ideas, guys. Yeah, so thank you.